everybody, amprepairguy.com, 203-892-4119. Also hardbackelectronics.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Again, the phone number is 203-892-4119. Phone number is also on my amprepairguy.com website. And for hardback inquiries, please send me an email at hardbackelectronics@gmail.com. That email is available on the contact page on the Hardbach site. Okay, so another Al811h. This customer loves them. This is the third one he sent me. He put these LEDs in, so I'm going to leave them alone, but I'm going to rewire the indicator because right now he has it across fuses, and if one side is switched, if this were ever wired for 240, he'd have 240 on that LED and poof. Okay, so I'm going to fix that. Basically, I'm just going to put it in parallel with the fan, because one side of the fan goes to the center tap junction of the transformer, so that's why the fan, no matter if it's wired for 220 or 120, always gets 120. So I'm going to do the same with the indicator. So this is a 2023. Towards the end, they made a mistake and they started winding the chokes, the plate choke, with the wrong wire gauge. So they used the same amount of turns, but you can see they're closer. So one was sent up to Jim and he checked it out. I think he said it had a series resonance on 20 and I think he said 15, I forget. But anyway, that has to come out, replace it. These leads are really stiff where it comes off the board. So place the leads and take the socket assembly out. I'm going to change the So-239's. Let's check them, but I always test them. I mean check them and replace them. I'm sorry, it's still early. I always replace them. These have decent grip, but they always wear out really fast. They just use really crappy ones. The connectors are so cheap and they don't take long at all to change, so it's just not worth it to take the risk of putting any RF amplifier into an open, whether it's solid state or tube. Okay, so he added that computer type plug receptacle, so solder joints aren't great. I'll fix those and tighten up on hardware, compress the socket clips, and add the gas discharge tubes to the base of the socket, one of the sockets underneath, because all four are parallel, so we only need one per side. I'll remove the metal oxide varistor, if it has one, it should, and also the gas discharge tube off the board. And the reasoning for that, why I add them at the base of the socket, is because if it's more prone to happen with an 811 tube, but with the anode to cathode short, and then the B positive before the gas discharge tube would backfeed all the way into the transceiver and blow up one of those little relays down there. Or if it's an older one with the open frame relay, same thing, but it can end up damaging the input circuit rotary switch and other stuff on the board. So they started adding the MOVs, and that wasn't 100% foolproof and wouldn't protect it all the way, still have those problems. So they had to start adding the gas discharge tube. But the problem with that is it still goes up through the filament choke and can do damage to other components on the board before it gets to that. And it's only on one side of the filament. So the likelihood of 572 flashing is very, very low, but they're like $1 or something, $2 each. So I add them. It's in case I've had customers put an 811 back in, I tell them not to, ends up flashing, and that protects, again, the receiver on their transceiver and these relays. So it's just really cheap insurance. Transceivers are not cheap nowadays. Some are pretty expensive, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. So okay, so enough talking. I'm gonna get to work, and I will see you guys soon. Stay tuned. I took the socket assembly out. This wire was barely tacked on the filament, so I'll fix that. And grab the grids, add the gas discharge tubes. So it goes through the screws. You want a nice solid connection to the chassis, and a lot of times these are loose. Like this one looks like it's loose. Yep, look at that. Look at that. Finger tight. That's a big problem. Big problem. That's how you take out a tube. Okay, so let me get back to work. See you guys soon. Okay, so each grid connection is grounded right to the metal now. Added the 2 gas discharge tubes, compressed the socket clips, fixed all of the solder joints. They were just horrible. Added the new plate choke and the longer screw. Okay, so back to work. See you guys soon. Okay, so I'm back with the completed Al811h. Customer wanted a video of it working on 20 meters. The blue LEDs, they're bright. And you have his other LEDs. This one shows that it has line power, so when it's off, it's still on. And that one, when it's keyed, that one comes on. So, power on, obviously. Okay, so back with the completed Ameritron Al811h. Customer wanted a video of it working on 20 meters. So these are the LEDs he added. This one shows that it's plugged in, so even when it's off, it's on. And the other ones are self-explanatory. So this one has a fuse in series with it. Now it's connected properly. It's basically in parallel with the fan. So if this is wired for 220, it won't pop. Okay, so the radio on 20, it's set to roughly, I don't know, 60 watts or so. 1 kW slug, it's on PEP, going into a bird attenuator load. Audio hello, 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 hello. Audio hello, hello. Audio hello, 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 hello. 800, 800, 800, 800, 800, 800, 800. Audio hello, 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 hello. Audio hello. Audio hello, 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 hello. Works as it should. Okay, so I'll pop the cover and show you what I did inside. See you guys soon. Back with the completed Al811h. So, took the socket assembly out, grounded the grids right to the metal, added the gas discharge tubes, new So-239's from Max Gain Systems, awesome company, brand new set of Penta Lab tubes, great company over there. Removed the wire for the 10 meter mod, got rid of that. What else did I do? So, like I said, I fixed the LED wiring. So now it goes to the center tap over here of the transformer, so it'll always have 120 volts on it, no matter what. It has a fuse in series, so if something happens to the wiring or the LED, it'll pop the little tiny fuse. I think it's like a 100 milliamp fuse. Fixed solder joints, compressed the socket clips, tightened all sorts of hardware. There's so much stuff that was loose. Even, especially, you always want to check the hardware holding the air variable capacitors in. On the load side, it has kept nuts. The other side, it has 832 screws with a kept nut underneath. So those are nice and tight. Clean the rotor switches with deoxit gold. Put some heat shrink over the exposed wire over here for his LED. Zip tied everything nice. Soldered everything, got a brand new plate choke and nice flexible new leads for the parasitic board. Okay, so I think that's about it. So if you need an amp repaired, feel free to give me a call. Phone number is 203-892-4119. Websites are amprepairguy.com, also harbackelectronics.com. And he replaced the fan and it's ample, so I'm leaving it alone. And I think that's it. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. More to come. 73. Oh yeah, one last thing. I put a longer screw in the plate choke. I always do that because the other one tends to back out, and then the choke can fall over sideways during shipping, and that's big problem. You end up destroying the choke. Okay. 73. Have a great day.